Welcome to the Journey Success Stories podcast. I'm Jennifer Shuffle, your host, and today I have with me Stacey Thornberry. She is the owner and president of CareWatch, or starting over. I'm like caregivers. I'm like,
Homewatch
no.
Caregivers. Homewatch Caregivers. You get prepared.
So it's funny because this is always, if I screw up, this is when I screw up.
Okay. All good. You
Oh,
meet a ton of people.
yes and no. So the other thing, if we do have a blooper or anything, stay on after we're done because then we can talk about, you know what, I kind of want to cut that piece out or whatever.
Okay.
I think I've had that like once,
Okay.
but yeah. So if you screw up, just keep going and then we'll edit it out.
Okay.
And the benefit of screwing up at the beginning is you just start over.
And you're in charge, so you get this.
Just, all right, we're in.
Homewatch Caregivers.
I have it literally on my notebook right here. It was down here, and I'm like, why did I do that to myself? Oh, Lord, it's been a long week. All right.
It's all good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey Success Stories podcast. I'm Jennifer Shuffle, your host, and today I have with us Stacey Thornberry. She is the owner and president of Homewatch Caregivers of Northern Kentucky. Welcome, Stacey.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, we're super excited to have you and to learn about your journey. So, of course, today we'll be talking about her business, her journey to business ownership, challenges along the way, but of course, those best practices. So, she's going to really share a great sneak peek into what is it really like to be a business owner. But if this is your first time to the show, make sure that you like and subscribe because you need to get notifications just like this one when we have new shows drop. So, of course, Stacey, welcome so much to this show and thank you for being with us and taking the time out of your busy day. I would love for you to share with us a little bit of a background of who you are, how you got to where you are today.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. So again, my name is Stacey Thornberry. I'm the owner of Homewatch Caregivers of Northern Kentucky. We have been in business 6 years next month, so I'm very excited about that. Yay!
That's awesome.
My background was never in home care. I didn't go to school for home care. I mean, they don't have a school for home care. So I've kind of learned everything along the way of a part of my journey, and I'm bringing it all together right now and kind of developing a passion and a career at the same time. So I graduated from Miami University with communication and human resources, and I loved that, learning about interpersonal communication, the different types of communication, just, learning about people, reading people, just different things. And then I really focused in on management and how those different teams work together and people work together, and be respectful and when to be quiet and all those things, to kind of make a good team leader. So I went to Miami and I got my degree, and then I went into the hospitality area, and I ended up being a human resource manager for hospitality companies for about 20 years. And most recently, like, I was with the Marriott. That's the one I ended with. And so Marriott's ingrained in my blood. It's in my core, those standards, those trainings and things like that. And after I left the hospitality, after my children, I became an office manager for 2 childcare centers. So that's where I learned a lot of the business side of things. And so I really felt during COVID that I wanted to do something a little bit more passionate, because of sitting at home and just kind of thinking about everything when you're just stuck there. I really want to be passionate about what I'm doing. And so I was like, why don't I just try being a business owner? So I hired a franchise coach. He ran me through the gamut of tests and all types of exams and personality assessments and all of those. And we ended up that I would be a really good fit for a home care agency owner.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that was kind of how I got here. And then I decided I wanted to open a home care, and I wanted to run it with Marriott type standards, bring all of my learning, my life experience from business in regards to hospitality, customer service, all of those things, and even working with human resources on your daily life skills. teaching, the caregivers, the housekeepers, the cooks, and all of those awesome employees that I've had along the way, different strategies for life and things like that. I didn't have the desire to get into corporate HR. I really wanted to be in the daily trenches with them. And that's where I just feel that I have empathy and passion to help people succeed. And so that's kind of why I went this route in regards to home care. And then I love caring for people. I love caring for seniors. And I took care of my grandparents back in 2000. I would be hiring caregivers for both of them. And it just kind of naturally kind of came together. And here I am today. So I feel that I'm in my right place right now at this moment in my career. And I really feel like we're making a difference here in Northern Kentucky.
Absolutely, you are. Wow, that is such a beautiful story. So, a franchise coach
Mhm.
did some assessments and pointed out, you know what, this is where you really need to be and where you should be.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, what was your first thought though when he said, this is where you should be?
I think that it really gave me some peace because when you're really thinking about if I want to own a business, what do I want to do? I mean, you get a million ideas in your mind, but I knew that I wanted to be a business owner where I could actually jump in the trenches if I needed to. Like, I didn't want to own a business where it was mechanical or something like that because I couldn't jump in and help. I wanted to own a business where I was going to be able to be right next to the person, my caregivers or, things like that if they needed help or if I needed to fill in. I want my team to see me working with them. So
Yes.
that's kind of like gave me peace when I was like, okay, that makes sense. That this is all coming together, it's all coming to fruition, and I'm going to give it a try. So that's kind of how that happened. But I was presented different options, but I did not want to get into something that I didn't know anything about.
Well, and you had some personal experience in that one too.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
how many employees do you have?
Right now, we average between 80 and 85. They're primarily women. I do have two gentlemen right now, three gentlemen right now on my team, but primarily they're women in all ages, all generations, all backgrounds, you name it. So I have a really good crew behind me.
That is awesome. So, when I think about part-time versus full-time, like
Mhm.
what does that split kind of look like over the 80, 85 people that you have?
Yeah, I would say primarily I have part-timers. I have a
Okay.
lot
Yeah.
of single moms. I have some of the girls are in nursing school, and I have some people that are retired. So I have primarily part-timers. I would guess about 10 full-timers. And those 10 full-timers, they have been with me for a while and they continue to grow and I continue to invest in my team as they're, showing a desire and that if I believe in them and I see a future with us.
Yes. Okay, so I have to ask, tell me more about how you're investing into your team because this is so instrumental.
Mhm. There's a couple ways that I invest into the team. I've developed a program that's peer mentoring. I think it's critical during the first 100 days that I call them my sunflower peer mentors, but they're my sunflower peer mentors. They've been with us for a while and they all get assigned a new hire. And so what we did with our sunflower peer mentors, it's the first step into leadership and it gives
Mhm.
them an opportunity to take more courses on leadership, more courses on communication. They get to come into the office and learn more about orientations. They have to kind of know the handbook a little bit better. And that group is about 5 women, and they really make they make us in the first 30 days. Like they make us in the first 60 days, 90 days. They're constantly checking in on their new hire. Um, and it gives them an opportunity to learn more without becoming overwhelming. And it gives them the opportunity to decide if they want to grow a little bit more because they're getting more visual touches and closeness touches, proximity to me of how I kind of run things and my pace and things like that. So that's like one of the first ways that I do that. Secondly, we are developing a program for dementia specialists, and we're getting ready to roll that out. And these caregivers will take specific courses
Mm-hmm.
on dementia, and they have to do role playing. They have to submit videos. It's quite the process, but they do get a pay increase with that. And so that way, if they don't have the funding or they don't have the desire to go back and become a
Mm-hmm.
CNA, then this is an opportunity for them to further their skills. And then I can use them on more challenging cases as they come. And then
That is
lastly,
phenomenal.
we haven't rolled it out yet, but we're in the process of finalizing our CNA education assistance program.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to have to be eligibility requirements for the caregivers. They've got to be in good standing. They've and I'll have things laid out in regards to retention and just um, different stipulations, so
Yeah.
that if they have the desire to get their CNA, I will assist them. I can't pay for it all, but I will assist them because I do believe in retention. I do believe in training. I do believe in leadership. And I want these girls, if they feel comfortable, my caregivers, I want them to know that they can have a career with me. Like, and if they feel comfortable moving into different roles. But if they don't, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I never pressure anyone.
That is phenomenal. So are you still working with a coach? Because this is
Mhm.
really great.
I am working with a home care coach at this time, and he's really getting me to zone in on operations. We're growing at a rapid rate, and that's part of my success story is I'm not afraid to ask for help from people that have done it before me and that have been successful. And so I am working with him, and he's kind of teaching me a little bit more operations. He's also teaching me how to make sure that I'm working on the business, not in it every day.
Yes, that's where the beauty really happens. Okay, I love him already and I don't know him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, and every business has to have a coach. It's what
Mm-hmm,
also gets us out of our own head and helps us to scale and
mm-hmm.
to even just think through things a little bit differently. I
Yeah,
love that you're
absolutely.
empowering your team too, because the retention and everything, it really speaks volumes.
Thank
And I can only imagine. So, let's talk about though your footprint across northern
you.
Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Where all do you go and like what does that look like for people? Because I know I have aging parents, but and so when we need the team, what does that
Mm-hmm.
look like?
So we travel all over northern Kentucky. I'm only licensed in Kentucky, so we'll go into the different counties, Boone, Kenton, Gallatin, Grant, if there is a client there.
Okay.
Our office is in Boone County, so primarily all of our clients are here in Boone. Um, if there is a need outside of that, I try to make sure it's something I could staff and make sure that I have a qualified team member for the case. I don't want to take a case that I'm not going to be able to fulfill. So that's very important. And so I go out and meet everybody. I meet all of my clients and I know all of my caregivers. So I kind of have a good idea of who's placed where and if it's a good personality fit or not, because that's again the part of the success of sending someone in the homes. It's a very intimate space and you have to have the trust there. And so if the clients meet me as the owner first, I can set the expectations. They've got my cell phone number so they don't ever feel like they're alone
Yeah.
in this process, because it is a very like I said, it's a sensitive topic. I mean, you're getting to see people in some of their most vulnerable states, and
Yes.
you have to have the right team in there.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
So at the Marriott's, of
Hmm.
course, we know where you would go and stay.
Hmm.
This is, you've kind of pivoted it
Hmm.
where you're going into the home and creating that kind of
Yes.
environment.
Yes.
So tell everybody, like, what does that look like for
Hmm.
your team and how are you able to do that?
So it takes a lot of preparation. I also offer guest service and professional development courses for my caregivers. I actually bring someone in from Marriott that I used to work with, and she comes in and teaches them about guest service, about positive interactions, about taking initiative, eye contact. She's giving them strategies on different conversation starters.
Yeah.
she's really setting the Marriott standard. She's teaching it to my caregivers so that we're able to do that in the homes. You don't just want to fold a wash rag. You want to fold the wash rag, make sure the corners are right, and you want to put it up. You don't just, throw the dishes in there. You want to put the dishes in a nice structured way. And so that is important to me, that the quality is there. I make sure and enforce that all of the caregivers are in uniform. That's important to me. We do spot checks. If the caregivers are in uniform, they get a little extra little treat or something, just something where they're recognized.
Right.
Great job. Thanks for showing up. And if they're not, then we have a shirt right with us so we can make sure that they get that shirt. So we fix it right then. So that's important to me, that the caregivers are prepared for their shifts and they understand, what they're walking into. We have different communications apps that are HIPAA protected, where the caregivers can read about the client beforehand, and they can also see the notes about the previous shift in case they're subbing, so that they can always see the schedule. Like, this client likes cornflakes, or this client likes, their coffee with 3 sugars. This just the little important things. The remote goes on the right side of the chair. Because those things, if you can make it as consistent as possible, it's going to be easier for a transition of a new person or a sub.
Right.
Because if you have to teach them each shift and you're bringing people in and out, it's really stressful for the client. And so we really try to make it to where we have care teams, so that
Nice.
initially
Good.
my care manager goes out, or I go out with the caregiver, do the introduction so that there's no awkwardness. Everybody knows where the washing machine is. Everybody knows, where everything is. And then if we have a sub, we'll bring that person out as well and do an introduction. So then we have a team, so then they can sub that way. And it's also important for the adult children to know who's in the home with their parents, because the more trust, once the trust is taken advantage of or messed up, it's hard to rebuild that. It is rebuildable, but we are working with humans. We all make mistakes. This is not a perfect industry, and I have to lay that up front so that we can have a chance to mentor and try to make things right.
Yes. I love that you have teams,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know. Someone may have a sick child, or car may have a flat, or there's all sorts of things that it happens, right? We
Right.
are human.
Right.
So tell me, does everyone get together with their teams each and every morning, or what does that look like? Because it kind of sounds like maybe you have a huddle before you actually set the course of the day.
That absolutely would be great to have, but we do not have. So we do a lot of, everybody's remote, because the caregivers rarely see each other unless they're on their team,
Yes.
and so we do a lot of communication within the group chats
Yes.
about the clients. And with that group chat, again, it's HIPAA protected. So the caregivers, if they have a problem getting the client into the shower, they can ask the team, what did you do? They can ask
Nice.
resources right there of, what did you do when this happened? And that person will say, oh, I did this. And then so that caregiver will do it. And then I have my hands in there. My care manager has her hands in there. And then my dementia specialist has her hands in there as well. So there's 3 key resources if a caregiver is on a shift,
Yeah.
that, and a lot of them will go through similar emotions. Say that somebody it fell and they're in the hospital. There is that emotion of sadness that we're not working with them anymore, or say they pass away. That team, if it's to that point where we've been with them for a long time, I do bring the team in for a shift and have them come in and let us debrief, because we are human. We set boundaries, but you're also, again, like I mentioned, this is an intimate space, and you hear a lot, especially at end of life. You're seeing a lot of tears. It's a very, very unique space we're in. That's not
Yeah.
every case, but we do a good job of making sure that we are developing those relationships, and we're just not going in and sitting on the couch. So I do want the caregivers to have a break if there is something that happens. I don't want them to feel they can't process that emotion and just go on to the next client.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. So If someone were to come in and ask, well, what set you apart from all the rest?
Mhm.
How would you answer that?
I really want to focus on the fact that of all the training we do. We do 4 different trainings each quarter in person, and then we require 12 hours annually online. So we're teaching dementia courses, CPR courses, we're teaching professionalism, hospitality, we're teaching um, end of life courses. We're teaching budgeting courses. We're really trying to make sure that the caregivers have the opportunity to learn if they want to, because it's only going to make their jobs easier.
Nice. And the dementia part
Mhm.
is so super important. When did you guys start the dementia training?
We started that about, I hired her in probably about 8 months ago. She is actually on the staff, and we are really trying to work with families. We're developing like dementia care teams with her, teaching the caregivers, getting them certified through TIPA Snow. There's different approaches, hand under hand, and different strategies for redirection and things like that to prevent like an escalating situation. And I really spend a lot of time in that space because this disease is so awful, and every shift is different, every person is different, and so we have to have the caregiver have resources with them all the time. And so I never want them to feel alone. So for me, bringing in and investing in the caregivers, investing a lot of money into this topic, I really believe it's changing how we provide care, because the caregivers are learning about dementia, they're learning about brain change, but they're also learning strategies for dealing with maybe a client that doesn't have dementia, but they're getting older and grumpier. Like there's just different things. It's bringing more examples of real life situations so that the caregivers are able to work with different clients.
Yeah. I had to laugh when you say getting older and grumpier. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I do that every day.
Everybody has a bad day.
Even our dog, he's funny because when it gets late at night, he even gets a little sassy and a little grumpy. And we're like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Yeah, that's funny.
So
Yeah.
that's cute. So tell me, where do you see the business 5 years from now? So you've arrived. What does it look like?
Mhm. It is busy. It is fun. It's action packed. You think you've seen it all or heard it all, and you haven't. So that's been the most eye opening for me in this industry, has been the stories that have come out of things that we have to confront or deal with that we probably never dealt with before, and we have to come up with a good solution. So in 5 years, I really want to continue to be a leader in this market, like in this market in Northern Kentucky. Um, I'm reading the book, The Science of Scaling. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but it's by Benjamin
Yeah.
Hardy and Blake Eckerson. I absolutely love it because that book is pushing me. You think that you have a dream of where you want to be in 5 years. I want you to dream bigger. And so
Yes.
it's really pushing me to even think even bigger. And so I really want to get in and infiltrate facilities and um, be a resource for neurologists and things like that to refer to us for education, so much more than just caregiving. I want to get into facilities and help work with their teams so that they are able to give good care. The silver tsunami is still coming. We are going to end up being in a crisis shortly with the caregivers. So we have to make sure that we're being prepared for that. And so I want to offer in 5 years and even more opportunities for my team to help impact not just the seniors, but the people that are caring for the seniors, caring for the caregivers, things like that.
Yeah.
That's my passion and dream. And, to be a referral source from a neurologist or a geriatric doctor would be ideal. And that just, again, comes with trust. It comes with, because many times these patients get a diagnosis and they're just sent home. Like it's
Yes.
just a check mark. And
Right.
then people have to figure out on their own, what does this mean? Or what's happening. And I hate that piece because that is a gap, and I want to be able to try and fill that gap. Because aging should be a celebration. It shouldn't be something that's frowned
Yeah.
upon. And I really want to be that referral source for that space.
Yes, yes. So, what would be something that would hold you back in achieving that 5-year goal and plan and fulfilling that space, that
Mhm.
gap that we have?
I think that, the business levels could hold me back from that because there is such a demand for caregivers. I have to stay on top of that with my team that
Mm,
we're recruiting enough and getting enough qualified staff for that. So I have to keep my focus. I can't take my foot off the pedal on that.
yeah.
You're constantly recruiting. You have to get creative a lot of how to get caregivers. Most recently, I think this is a really cool story. I want to share it because it's part of our story. Is that we have maybe 5 women that are from they're from a rehab group, but they've done the work. They've done the 2 years of committing to get themselves better, and they've done all of their appointments, and they want a second chance at life. Those are amazing people for me to hire because I believe in second chances, and they are some of my best workers. And so, as long as they're not, they don't have a criminal background, and theft and things like that. But I'm all about a second chance. Everybody makes a bad decision, and as long as they're making up for it and taking strides to change their life, I believe in them. And so I think that's a big key again in recruiting. You have to get creative. And
Yes.
I have to keep my relationship with everyone on my team so that I know that they're still safe to go into homes, and that they have an accountability to me as their owner, their leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
I,
that's going to be one of the things that might hold me back a little bit from having all of my energy into this growth mode. I have to make sure that I'm still being able to provide that quality of care that I want to be providing.
yes. So, when is Stacy going to hire that general manager and try to duplicate herself?
That's $1 million question. Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here 85, 80 to 85 employees 5 years from now.
I know. I know it's a big, it's growing, and I'm very, very thankful. So I know what's happening in
Yes.
the future, and that's why I have a coach right now. So
Well said.
because
Yeah.
sometimes I just don't know how to handle the level, things are coming at you all the time. And I have to be able to learn how to handle it and delegate off and also hire the right people for my leadership team, which has been, I've invested 2 more leaders on my leadership team this year, and it has been a game changer. But that's a risk. I mean, everything's a risk and it is an investment. And I have to make sure I have the right person because, again, you're dealing with confidential information, you're dealing with a high stressful office because there's so much going on all the time. It's not
Yes.
usually quiet where you're just sitting around. What am I going to do today? It's not that environment. It is, and I move fast. And so people have to keep up with my level of, workload.
But that's perfect because if you don't move fast,
Mhm.
who knows what'll happen.
Yeah, I'm always thinking. I'm always forward thinking. And that's kind of like my coach is kind of, he loves that I think that, but I also have to make sure I have this structure in place.
Yes.
But
We have to
again,
have that solid foundation
hmm
because if it starts to crack, well, we need to address it. So we
right.
have to keep our eye on the ball
hmm
as we're also growing. So
Right.
it's
Right. So
definitely a juggling act.
yeah, I think I'm doing better with work-life balance, but it's still going to always be a challenge for me because I'm an achiever, I'm a goal setter, and when I set those goals, I want to get to them.
Oh my gosh, so many questions in like that one sentence that I would love to go into. Unfortunately, we're starting to come up at the end
Okay.
of time. But so as a female and
hmm
juggling all the things and work life, I'm going to call it harmony, not balance.
Okay.
How
Very
do you achieve or keep yourself in check?
good. I surround myself with people that will help keep me in check. So
Mhm.
in different aspects. So I have a workout partner that I get with her, in the mornings. It has to happen in the mornings or it's not going to happen. So she'll help ground me in the mornings, and we get our energy going. We get, ready for the day. We kind of just talk through things. We've been running and working out together for about 7 years now. And so
Nice.
that's been really good because she'll keep me in check and hold me accountable for that. I have a wonderful, supportive husband, and he helps me get through some hard times that, he listens from things from work, and he also sees me at home when I'm exhausted. So like he'll be one to say, hey, you need to rest. I don't want you to be doing anything this weekend. I want you to take a break, So he's very supportive though in all of my endeavors. And I also have, a supportive family. And then here at work, I have a great group around me that help keep me accountable too. So I have to surround myself with good people so that I will be able to be successful. I mean, if I surround myself with people that aren't going to hold me accountable, I'm not going to grow. And like I said, that's just in my DNA. I'm a goal setter and I want to grow all the time and do more things all the time.
So tell us, what is your goal setting process? Like, how do you set goals? What does that look like?
So I see other people's success stories. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I love documentaries. So I kind of like, I think about things like that, and then I'll set a goal. Like that sounds like a really good something I could do. Like maybe I could do that. And so then I kind of just go through, I process it out, I talk through it, and then I put it on paper. And once it's on paper, it becomes real. So if it makes it to the paper, and then once it hits the paper, then it hits it on a sticky note, like by the bathroom mirror. So that each day I can check things off, So it just in depending, and if I have fitness goals, that's where that goes, or if I have work goals, I have a list here and I have to check it off each day. And if I don't get to it, it's not the end of the world, but and I have a Fitbit, so I have goals in my watch, you know what I mean? Not a Fitbit, those are from a long time ago. I have an Apple Watch.
What?
Yeah. So I have to make sure those circles are closed every day. That's just how I operate. So that's how I hit my goals. And then if I don't, then I have to readjust as to why, or have a reason why I didn't. So if I missed my fitness goal, I'll put on there, didn't feel good that day. Like I have to, so that when I'm looking back, I know what the reason was.
Good. Oh, excellent stuff.
And then I
Well,
keep
and
everything, which is, once I've written it down, I keep it all. So that way I'm like, oh, okay, well that, I didn't hit that because I had gotten the flu or something, So then
right.
then
Yep.
I'll reset the goal and, where I can achieve it.
That's fabulous. So you're even doing a Pareto chart and all the things like didn't feel good. Okay, what's really the true reason? That's just an excuse.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't feel like it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great, Stacey. I love that. And I love that you keep it in front of you because that's where the intentionality comes into play and you're holding yourself accountable. Never mind, not that you mentioned it. I'm sure your coach would also very willingly call you out if you're not
Mhm.
achieving the things that you committed yourself to.
Right.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
this has been a fabulous story, but unfortunately, we're coming up to time. So I have a couple rapid fire questions. Are you
All right.
ready?
All right, I'm ready.
All right. What is the key to success for you?
I have to answer this rapid fire. Okay, the key to success for me is surrounding myself with awesome people that hold me accountable and that are smarter than me and passionate as me so that we can continue to be successful.
Awesome. Yes, yes. So, what is your one piece of advice that you would give to other business owners?
I would say sometimes there looks like there's a mountain in front of you and you don't know how you're going to get through it, but you have to really take the time and go layer by layer and decipher things layer by layer so that you can get over that mountain, because you will get over it.
Yes, bites of the elephant.
Yes.
Excellent. So, you mentioned the book earlier, but what is a book or podcast that you're reading or listening to right now?
I'm definitely reading that one. And then I listen and to a lot of home care podcasts constantly. Again, I'm listening to other people that are successful or dealing with things similar to me because they don't make a school for home care. So that way I can learn the right KPIs and different things like that. I'm also reading The Servant Leader. I think
Oh, yes,
it's been very impactful for me. Do you have
yes,
it there?
I do.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
not, yeah, but it is.
So I highly recommend that one as well.
Yes, that one's so important,
Mhm.
especially with what you're doing as well. because you're
Absolutely.
very much a servant leader.
Yes.
All right, so here's a fun question for
Okay.
you. If you had a little bit of magic dust that you could sprinkle on one spot of the business, what would it be?
That if I had magic dust, I would sprinkle it on. I would love to have more caregivers.
I love that. Yes.
I would just love them to be lined up outside the door.
Well, and I would love for one of them to duplicate you
Oh,
because as we have all these caregivers and helping us with that silver
that's true.
tsunami,
Mhm.
um, Stacy's going to need help too.
I don't know if my team could handle two of me, but we'll see. That could be another
I
podcast.
don't know. You've already preconditioned them. I bet they'll do fabulous. All right. Before we get into the final question of the day, share with our audience how can they get a hold of you because they need you and your beautiful caregivers.
Oh, thank you. We have a website. It's homewatchcaregivers.com/Northern Kentucky. You can follow us on Facebook at HW Caregivers NKY and Instagram. And make sure you put the Homewatch Caregivers NKY or you won't get straight to us. But I'm here in the office. I love talking on the phone. Even if you're not my client, I'll help you. I'll help get you to the right person that might be able to help. I just have a passion to help seniors and families that are going through this because it's very new, it's overwhelming, and so many people are trying to juggle work, kids, parents, diagnosis, all kinds of things. So I'm here to help.
Excellent. And thank you for doing all that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out to get to know me a little bit.
Of course. So, the final question of the day is what's most inspiring to you today?
I love that I'm actually sitting here with another woman who is a coach that is willing to build into other women and kind of and help them feel important and help them to be successful. I really do. I think it's needed and you're doing a great job with it.
Oh, thank you so much. I got goosebumps. I love that. Thanks so
I
much.
love women leadership. I mean, it's a hard thing to do,
It is.
but it's needed and I love encouraging other women.
Yes, the more we can promote one another, the
Mhm.
better.
Absolutely.
Because it can get lonely at the top. So we have to surround ourselves, as you had
Mhm.
mentioned, with other empowering people that are
Yes.
there for us.
Yes.
Well, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story and, of course, where we're going in the future.
Yes.
So
Uh,
thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me today.
Absolutely, anytime. So, of course, for all of you who are watching, I encourage you to save this show, come back to it, watch it again and again, because Stacy really did have some really great insights in regards to team, retention. I mean, I can go on and on. So, you want to save this one and come back to it. Again, if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, why? You need to. So, you can get notifications every time we have a new episode drop, just like this one. So thanks to everyone who joined us today, and a special thank you, of course, to Stacey Thornberry with Homewatch Caregivers of Northern Kentucky
That's right.
for being with us today. We really
Thank you
appreciate
again.
you.
Thank you.